How do I not have Tobias in my Skype contacts? That's not good.
The word Slack comes to mind.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't like the way that YouTube does audio. Because you can't, like, stack up a playlist and just let it play. You've got to play the songs one at a time, and they just stop.
That is bad. feel like I'm ready to go lift weights now.
I got some.
I'm good. That would void the warranty on my hand.
Oh, yeah. Might not be smart right after surgery.
No.
You don't want to blow that up.
No, that would be bad.
So one of the fun things happened. One of the nights we were there, we went down, Morgan and I went down to South Beach to watch the sunset.
Mm-hmm.
And, Morgan went out we went out on the rocks, whatever that's called, Land's End or whatever the rocks that go out into the water.
Oh, yeah.
And while he was out there, I saw a little shark swimming around.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw a dolphin, and there were some teenagers who were fishing, and one of them caught a small shark and let Morgan hold it. So I've got a picture of Morgan holding like this 2.5 foot long shark.
Yeah, Spencer and my wife did that a couple times. They love doing that.
Oh, wow.
That's their favorite thing to do when they go down there.
Is fish for sharks?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that and flying kites. That's my favorite thing to do. I will sit in a chair and fly a kite all day.
That's cool.
Just because I can't do it in PowerShell, so I have to hold it.
I've got one of those stunt kites, like the big parafoil ones with the 2 lines that you can do cool stuff with.
Nice.
I always forget to bring that with me, though, when we go. And here in Georgia, there's
too many trees.
You can't fly it.
There's too many trees.
Yeah, it's not. You can't find a flat enough space where you can get some decent wind most of the time.
No. But the other thing about taking that beast on the beach, it might actually rip out of your hand.
Oh yeah, that's a possibility.
That would not be fun.
Yeah, it's a workout because it's big enough that it does pull, and you're like leaning back against it when you're controlling it.
Wow, that's quite a kite.
It's what I think it's 6.5 feet. So maybe not quite that big.
Okay,
yeah.
I saw something funny. Adam posted it, and it was a blog entry on Pluralsight. Somebody who actually went to Ignite, and they saw Ops Insight, and they said, "Ooh, this will be cool to play with at work." And I guess he's never really tested something from Microsoft before or something. I don't know. But he actually did it on systems that people looked at. And he wrote a blog entry kind of saying, well, it's great, but don't do it in real life kind of entry. It's like, well, you're supposed to do that in a lab that no one cares about, so you don't get all those alerts because they are noisy right at first. And so the funny thing is about this, the very next day, Microsoft puts out a blog post on how to disable the alerting capabilities that are in Ops Insight into SCOM.
Huh. So Ops Insight is the Azure-based piece, right?
Yes, that's the new thing they're working on. Oh, are we recording yet, or am I getting ahead of myself?
We are live. We're not recording yet. No. We're not recording yet. So okay, I'll start recording. Huh. But yeah, I want to talk about that because we're actually have an instance of that at work, and we're trying to get. I think I've got two domain controllers and some other stuff reporting into it now. But yeah,
really,
that's definitely something I'd like to learn more about.
Oh yeah, sure. I'll tell you all about it, man. That's fun.
But I don't know if Tobias is going to join us or not. So I guess we can just roll. And if he joins us, he joins us because I don't know what time it is where he is. But
it's late.
Yeah, he was not excited about the time, and I didn't really confirm with him because I suck at email.
Yeah, you do.
Following up. Yeah, I'm horrible.
I know. Well, I'm even worse because I emailed you 3 hours ago. Hey man, do you still want me to come by?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we did talk about that. Sure. Yeah, come on over.
Ooh, shoot. Good. He answered his email. Yay. Because there's only so many things I can fix in my mom's house before I have to say, okay, Mom, I gotta go.
I got a thing.
Yeah, I got a thing to do with a friend. It's in a parking lot somewhere far away from nearby. So, I feel like I'm 18 again. All right, Mom, I gotta go. Bye.
Okay, I guess we can go ahead and officially start.
Right.
Tonight on the PowerScripting podcast, at the moment, we have with us Scott Moss, who has joined me in the studio. Welcome, Scott.
Hello.
And we may have Tobias Weltner. He was scheduled to join us. I don't know if he's going to be able to or not. And it is very early in the morning or late at night. I'm not sure where he lives. So if he joins us, we'll bring him in. If not, we will just talk. So, Scott, it has been a long time since we've had you on the show. What have you been up to?
Since well,
that's
quite
like
a
5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that
was a long
like,
time ago.
Yeah, that was I think episode 68 or 69 or something like that. That's quite a long time ago. I've been up to a lot. Most recently, I've relocated myself from Atlanta to Houston to work for we'll just say a large bank, and doing operations manager for them. I'd been looking for operations manager work in Atlanta for 2.5 years, and just wasn't finding what I wanted to do. So I decided I was going to break away and go do something fun. So, and it's more than I could have asked for. Actually, it's quite a blessing actually. So I'm super stoked about it.
Well, that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. So you're an MVP, right? Aren't you?
Yes, about six year. Yes.
6 year. Wow, yes. That's awesome.
Hoping for a 7th. We'll see. That's why I'm here.
So I don't know very much about Operations Manager. I've literally never looked at the console. I've done some PowerShell stuff with it, though, because one of the guys that I work with is getting up to speed on PowerShell, and his skills are growing really quickly. He comes to my internal PowerShell class, and he'll bring me over and ask me questions, and I'll help him through stuff. So I've seen some of the PowerShell support with Operations Manager, but I know it does alerting. Mm-hmm. We get alerts from it.
Yeah.
But I don't know how all the back end works. I know that it must collect data from whatever you're monitoring. Does it just capture Windows events, or can you pull WMI or whatever you want?
Actually, it can do all of the above.
Okay.
It can pull. You could pull. Actually, I've been doing this lately. I've been pulling magic data from PowerShell scripts that collect information and shove them into what Operations Manager calls them. Basically, it's a bag. I'm sorry, you can do anything from VB script, JScript, PowerShell. You can use all those as data sources, and you can pull information from counters on servers, and as well as event logs. And it's very, very easy. That stuff is really easy. It's when you start getting into scripting and really custom stuff that it can get really in the weeds really quick. But it's fun. I really enjoy it. But the easy stuff that Microsoft gives you right out of the box with the management packs, as far as what to monitor, it's pretty good for a company with 200 to 300 servers tops. And then that's when you have to start really managing what management packs you're going to use, what monitors and rules you really should have enabled, disabled, and just to maintain the overall infrastructure, so you're not like overwhelming it with I need to pick up this perf counter every minute on all the servers. Yeah, that doesn't really work too well for Ops Manager. It's more of we'll take everything, we'll pull it every 5 minutes to see how it's going. If you need something that's more robust than that, where you want to pull data every minute, you should probably be using a PowerShell script. Excuse me. Pardon me. Actually. Sorry.
There comes a real one.
There goes a real one. So, but it's really interesting. Let's see, what else? What was one of the other questions you had? You shot out a lot of questions real quick, so I'm trying to keep up with you.
So one question I have about that is, like, if you're using a PowerShell script, and Sam, I wrote a script that is pulling some sort of data that I want to then capture in SCOM. Does it have to be? Can I just send it kind of any object I want? Does it have to be in a specific format for it to consume that, or how does that work?
Well, it prefers it in a format such as, let's see if I can give you a good example. So I pick up a data point, say like I want to grab a folder size.
Okay.
That's an easy one because there's lots of examples of that on the internet. But usually what you do is you pull that back and you just use the actual, what everyone hates to use is, not the text instance, but just the number. Not the nice fuzzy thing class, that everybody loves in PowerShell.
The whole object?
Yeah, you can't pull the whole object. It wouldn't know what to do with an object. So you basically ship it to a variable, then send it to to the property bag. That's the ops manager way of saying, "Ooh, we're going to put this data in operations manager." So
Okay.
but
And
yeah,
then-
that's the really cool stuff. But to the guy who you're helping, I actually have I call it a boatload of one-liners. It's it's on my blog. It's from last year. I think I did it at a MMS in Minnesota. Well, it's MMS, but it's Midwest Management Summit.
Okay.
So that's what that MMS moniker comes from. But it's basically they had a 3-day event up at the
At the Mall of America?
yes,
Is that
at
where you
the
said
mall,
it is?
yeah, at the Mall Americas. And I gave one of my talks was on PowerShell, and I whipped out a updated list of one-liners. It's a couple of pages long, but those are usually good for people who are trying to get their feet wet with it. If he's already got his feet wet with it, he might want to do more. So
Yeah, he told himself this year that he didn't want to do anything in the console. He's like, I just want to try and do everything from PowerShell.
Writing overrides would be a little painful. So
Okay.
he might want to.
Yeah,
say,
I don't know if he's actually doing that, but I know that's what he's been trying to do, and he's learned a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure, because you can do quite a lot, but there are some things that I wouldn't go jumping into making overrides. I still haven't done that. That's just one of those things I don't do. I in my new role, I haven't been in ops in 4 or 5 years. So right now, what I'm doing is engineering, where I'm basically writing management packs and doing things like that nature that are more engineering for a rather large implementation of SCOM. I'm not doing bare bones every day kind of work with it anymore. It's kind of nice. So
what's an override?
Oh, an override. That's a fun thing. Basically, Operations Manager has management packs, and the ones that come from Microsoft and third-party actually vendors, and ones I even make now, they're sealed. So that means that the rules, monitors, that are in this management pack cannot be really changed. The only way you can change them is by creating an override in an unsealed management pack. And this is where we're going to get into the weeds real quick, I know, because I'm throwing a lot of new vocabulary out. But basically, that is a way so that you could say, okay, for this class of server, I do not want any alerts on hard drive space, that kind of thing. It's basically a way to work around limitations Microsoft has put on, or not limitations, but, so you can make it more suited to your environment. Because, as you know, you've worked at several large enterprises. Not every place is the same.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when they have token ring.
Token ring.
I'm sorry. I did it again. I'm so bad. I'm the worst guest ever. Oh, no. I got a BNC connector here. We can try it out. And I lost the video feed a long time ago, so if I look strange, it's because I'm not looking at myself.
Oh, I can see you.
Okay, good.
So can everybody else.
Oh, no. Ooh. Now my mom knows where I am.
Is she a big YouTube fan?
No. It's funny because I got all the IT or the geek desire from my dad. He was the 70s geek. He was a slide rule guy. He actually made engineering work for making loom weaves. So he was in the late 70s or early 70s. That was like cutting edge, was industrial textiles, and that's what he did. And like my mom is like, her VCR still blinks. I mean, it's I love her to death, and I got her an iPad, and we've still been helping her with it, and my son goes and helps her with it, and it's just fun. So I love her to death, but that's not where I got my tech from.
Yeah, I didn't get it from either of my parents.
Yeah, sometimes you're like, where did this come from? Okay.
Well, I have to give my dad credit, though, because he did bring us a Commodore 64 home out of the blue, and that was my first computer. So
Wow, that's strong back in the 80s.
Yeah.
That's very strong.
Had the 1541 disk drive.
Man. Wait, wasn't that a cassette?
No, I actually had it was a 5 1/4 inch floppy.
Oh, okay.
That was after the cassettes. I
Yes.
know they had cassettes for Commodore 64, but I never had one. I had the floppies.
Yes, my friend had a TSR.
TSR 80?
Yeah, something like that. He had a cassette tape. It was hilarious. I was like, are you going to put Iron Maiden in there? That might break it.
So one of the other things that I wanted to know about SCOM is, what does the kind of the architecture look like in terms of like the number of servers and how it integrates into the rest of System Center? How does that stuff work?
Okay. Well, we can easily talk about what is out there right now. It's SCOM 2012 R2 with a couple, I think 6 CUs now. I think that's what we're up to. But basically, the infrastructure is such as this: that you have a management server, and the management server is what basically collects data from agent machines.
Is that a single server?
It can be, or you can have many.
Okay.
It depends on how many servers you want to manage. So once you break, most labs, you have an all-in-one server, which is really easy to manage because, you have your server and then you just push out agents from it. But in larger organizations, when you have, let's say, let's just say with 10,000 number, that's the upper envelope for a management group from Microsoft. And basically the management group is the biggest, that's your, the domain for, you'd use for security, or say like, all right, this is going to be a security boundary or something like that. It's a boundary of like, all right, we're only going to do Exchange in this one management group.
Okay.
And so basically you can have like several different management groups, but each management group has to have a management server. And it has to have a database infrastructure behind it, which would be a ops manager database and a data warehouse database. And that's what basically stores all the data in it. And so basically you have agents that report to the management server, and the data goes into the databases. And it usually writes. The fun thing about it is that the management server will send the reportings, the data warehouse reporting information to the data warehouse. At the same time, it sends it to the operational database, so that you'll have it in both places. So it's kind of nice.
Oh, okay.
And it only keeps that operational data for, the default 7 days, but usually most people turn that down to 3 or 4, depending on how big their environment is.
I imagine that data warehouse can be enormous really quickly.
Oh, yes. Back when I used to administer a MOM 2005 MOM infrastructure, we had a 1.2 terabyte data warehouse, and that was back in like a long time ago. That was MOM 2005, so that was like probably 2007. That was unheard of. So, yeah, they can get really big. It all depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to use the data warehouse for a future reporting, so you can say, okay, this is the growth we had for this server, for this, the utilization numbers. That's what you do. If you're using this more for a reporting end, you can, or not reporting, but for
like alerting.
Alerting, yes. You can pretty much say, well, you don't have to have reporting. You can just, minimize how much you're keeping in a data warehouse and just go with alerting. It all depends on what your end goal is. So, but that's basically, so I'm sorry, I'm getting off track again. Oh. But basically that's the infrastructure for it.
Okay.
And the reporting server for, man, I should really have a Visio diagram in front of me so I can finish this right. Either that or coffee. But yes, and you have reporting for it for the data warehouse, and you have can also have other pieces that aren't necessarily required. I just went over the required pieces. You're required to have a management server. You're required to have those 2 databases.
Okay.
And the reporting server now. And you could also have a gateway, which would be a intermediary between either a security boundary, like such as an untrusted domain,
Okay.
or for along the lines of you don't want to saturate a network, a network point. So say like you've got 5 servers in Australia or Austria or, somewhere where, there's limited bandwidth coming back.
Okay.
You put a gateway there, all the agents report to that. It takes and encapsulates the data and shoots it out in a much smaller packet, much better format.
Oh, okay.
So
that makes
it's
sense.
one of those things that's, and that when you use it like that, it's not really for a security boundary. It's more for, network utilization. So that network guys don't come looking for you. So yeah, that's the basics of the Ops Manager infrastructure.
So does Microsoft have anything cloud-based for SCOM yet? Are they looking to move that direction? I know they're trying to do a lot of things now as a service. They've done Exchange and SharePoint for a long time, and I've always expected them to do the same thing with System Center. And I mean, they have Intune, which is kind of a little bit that. But do you have an impression as to whether or not they're moving that direction?
Well, it's a good question you brought up, and they answered that at Ignite with Azure Stack. Basically, that's the newer stack that they're going to methodology for. Well, that's not just Ops Manager. That's the whole thing. But basically,
the whole System Center suite.
Yeah. I believe so.
Well, I guess they don't call it a suite anymore. They call it System Center, right?
Yeah, I think this suite thing went away a long time ago. But no, you've got Ops Insight. That was now it's Azure Ops Insight, I think, or Azure Insight. Crud! Now I've got to check my notes. Hold on a second. Yes, Operation Insight is now Operations Management Suite. Oh, okay, that's right. See, that's why I have to keep notes myself, because this stuff gets confusing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I only get so many memos about, from marketing about the change of names. But anyways, Azure Operational Insights basically is what came out at Ignite. And basically that's the thing that they've been showing off for, that was called Ops Insight before. And basically it's where you can basically plug in your management group. And that was the cool thing about Ops Insight, was the fact that it wasn't stuck in the management group scene. So like say, because this happens to a lot of places, I've got 10 management groups and I need to see a single pane of glass. Well, unless you're paying a C# programmer or buying something from a third-party vendor, your hopes of ever seeing that are nil.
Okay.
Until Ops Insight came out. Then you could say, oh, hey, I'm going to plug my management groups into here, and voila, you have your one pane of glass. Only problem with that is, naturally, with regulations and things like that, not everybody can just go to the cloud like that, especially with monitoring data. I know several places that can't do it because of that, but it does bring to light that you can show, hey, look, this is what they've done, and the timeline for what they did with Ops Insight was relatively small compared to the overall length of what they did for any of the revisions of Ops Manager. They made so many changes. They made so many speed steps of deployment. In other words, they brought out the SQL piece. Actually, I should bring it up so I can speak about it much more intelligently. Hold on a second.
So is that strictly cloud-based?
Yes.
Okay.
Ops Insight part is. So basically, what you do is you go to Ops Insight, get yourself an account, and it's a free account. So because they're trying to test it and ramp it up. So, and then you can go in and say, all right, go into your operational, as long as you're running a recent version of Ops Manager. So that's System Center Operations Manager 2012 SP1 or R2 with at least one. With SP1, you have to at least have one CU, and you'll be able to add Ops Insight. And basically, it asks for your login. You give it the login, then you tell it what you want to send to the cloud, and it starts sending it. It doesn't just carte blanche send everything.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's how I was going to ask, is what data does it need to send to the cloud in order to be useful?
Yeah, basically, you tell it, hey, I've got these servers, and I want them to go to Ops Insight. And then you go into Ops Insight, and you configure with, all the widgets you got. You can say, all right, I want to do security analysis on these. I want to do performance data collection on these. And then you can start after it churns on it, and it usually takes a couple hours for it to start churning on things. But then you'll start being able to get, I hate to use the word, you'll get insight into your infrastructure. So, that was really bad. So
does the data go from the client to Ops Manager or Ops Insight, or does it go from the SCOM server centrally up to the cloud?
They've got a little management packs in there that grab data for it specifically.
Okay.
And actually, that was the nice thing. They actually did a write-up. The Microsoft operations folks wrote up a nice blog article on how to disable alerting from Ops Insight, which is really good because some people don't like it. And
so would you get alerts then from Ops Insight and SCOM?
Well,
or how?
No, that's more of a console. That's the thing. This is still something they're developing. It's an ongoing development cycle. As you well know, the Microsoft development cycle has changed over the past 2 years, and the Ops Insight is part of that cycle. And I'm pretty sure that's public knowledge. If it's not, I just did something bad. But anyways, you can cut that out. Sorry. But no, that cadence. So every couple of weeks, a new widget will appear, or like sometimes all of a sudden a new widget will appear. They won't say anything, and they'll just start watching people use it. It's really interesting seeing this new Microsoft. I mean, I've been psyched since the MVP conference. I've been pretty stoked.
So do you see a day where the SCOM agents are sending data directly to the cloud rather than to a central management point, and it all happens up there? Or do you think you're always going to need some kind of central consolidation point and then just send the important data that you really want, say you want to report on, up to whatever they're going to call their cloud piece?
Yeah. I could see that happening. It really, again, falls back to regulations and what the business your machine is in. So, like, say if it's an innocuous business, like it doesn't have to fall under PCI compliance or anything like that. Right. Naturally it could go to the cloud all day. But it's when once you start getting into the compliance realm, and I'm sure there's more compliance than I'll ever want to know about. But that's when the whole cloud question becomes murky. So
okay.
But yeah, as long as you don't have to comply with any kind of regulations, sure, why not? I mean, it's there, and if there aren't any laws, saying you can't, why not use it? But right now, all the Ops Insight is really doing is trying to massage log data. It's not really an alert. I mean, you can actually, that's the cool thing. You can actually configure an agent to go directly to Ops Insight only. But what is that going to buy you? Right now, it's not. It's going to buy you a few things, but it's not like using real SCOM. Okay. Because that's the other thing is there's alerting there, but it's not quite as robust yet. It's more like query driven, like you say, I want to look for this on this server. Whereas in Ops Manager, you have management packs that are looking for things actively for you, so that you say, okay, I know this is going to be managed now, and move on. So
okay, yeah, that sounds good. So what's the PowerShell story for SCOM these days?
It's pretty good. It's still developing, and what I mean by that is this: the Ops Manager team didn't take quite the the stance as some other teams, like the Exchange team, where they actually built everything on PowerShell and then put a GUI over it.
Right.
They really couldn't go it that way because of the I guess the robustness of what they have to do, because you have the management infrastructure would be hard to manage if you were trying to. I don't even know if they could backwards do everything. I mean, in my mind, it was more of a thing to say, okay, all right, well, let's try and take out some of the pain points that people who are going to be managing this are going to have.
Okay.
And try and help them out and not make their life so, don't make them right click everything and go to turn something off, get alert, close alert, things like that.
And then I know that you said from a client perspective, you can use PowerShell to collect data to send into SCOM. And then you can also use PowerShell to do your management if you're administering the product itself, it sounds like.
Yeah, basically you can easily set specific client options like, enabling proxy. That can be set globally actually now. Checking your agents, making sure they're there, checking their version numbers, things like that you might not necessarily want to do on, in a GUI, It's kind of like saying, okay, do I really want to export this to an Excel, or do I just want to, do a couple lines of PowerShell and get it into a CSV file so I can, massage it and say, all right, this is the change ticket we need to put in to get all these agents up to Rev A, things like that.
Okay. And does any of the cloud-based features or those new cloud-based products have any PowerShells? Well, they probably do, because they're kind of integrated into Azure in some way, aren't they?
They are, but I haven't seen anything like that yet. And the fact that I still haven't seen it it's not troubling. It's interesting. I know they're trying to put a nice front end on it so that it's usable, but like Office 365, there's a definite, inroad for using PowerShell, to be able to go in there and create a whole bunch of, that's one of the few things I got to do, was go and create a whole bunch of address book entries for people who weren't being, migrated in one certain instance. So I had to go in and real quick, I was like, well, give me a CSV file with their names, and then I banged it out in like under a minute in PowerShell, and boom, they were all there. They're like, how'd you do it so fast? I was like, I don't know. And I walked away. No, I told them what I did. It was kind of funny. It's just one of those things. It's PowerShell is so handy sometimes. And then other times you're like, why isn't there a commandlet for this?
Yeah.
Oh, do I have to look at the SDK now? Oh God, no. But yeah, anyways, back to the Ops Management Suite, excuse me. Right now they have several very nice, they're calling it blades, I guess, different things that they're offering in the Ops Management Suite. They've got an AD assessment where they can tell you, basically they'll assess your AD and give you recommendations upon, high priority things that you should do versus low priority, and things that you've actually passed as a green check mark. They also have alert management, and that's basically telling you how many alerts are coming through. And again, that's kind of nice, but again, I don't think I'd want alerting information to come from the cloud, but that's just me because I'm weird. And then there's a malware assessment, so it can assess information that is coming through Ops Manager is being sent to the cloud, and it's able to assess whether you have adequate threat protection enabled or whether it's inadequate, which is kind of fun. And automation part, and that came out at Ignite. Man, okay. I'm just having such a hard time remembering that. Maybe if I would have went to Ignite, I might remember it, but I didn't go, so it's kind of hard. Anyways, they have also got a nice capacity planning widget and change tracking widget. The change tracking widget I think that was the second widget they came out with. Basically, it's able to say, hey, from the logs that you've been sending us, we can tell, this service account has changed, or this service config has changed, or this software has been installed. It's really cool. And then they've got a configuration assessment, which is basically, again, kind of like the change tracking, but not really. It checks the configuration assessment of your machines. There's also a SQL assessment. That's more new. That's newer. I think that came out like right after MVP Summit, like in January.
Oh, okay.
And a system update assessment and a security and audit assessment. So they've got quite a few assessments out there. And, that's not all. And I think that's it, yeah, for right now. They also have a log search capability where they can search logs that you send it, which is kind of funny because if you look at your use, they've got a nice little utilization widget. So it tells you, okay, in the past 30 days, like this is just my little, I've been playing with it in my own lab on my laptop. And I've sent 391 megs in the past 30 days, and it's only been on like 5 days or 6 days. And the majority of the information it's sent has been security-related data.
Okay.
And then like 249 megs out of that 400 is security data. Then 80 megs is for SQL assessment. And it's interesting to look at, but again, it's one of those things. It's new. They're still working on it. It'll be cool. It's in a cool space, because it's, naturally it's in the cloud. People want to embrace it.
Do you think, is that something that would compete with Splunk?
Hal's not here, is he? No, I don't think it would.
Okay.
I'm not a Splunk head. I just monitor it. I hate to say this. I've never been an end user of Splunk, but I've heard what it does, and it sounds kind of familiar to what this is doing.
Okay.
But I don't know the product well enough to be able to say, well, yeah, you could easily write a capacity management aggregate data aggregation on Splunk. I don't know those kind of things. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Scott wants you to check out his shirt, or Hal wants you to check out his shirt that he posted over here. It's in Slack.
Oh, man. See, I can't look at everything, Hal. Oh, Hal's watching? Oh, no.
Yes, he is.
Oh, my gosh. I'm in trouble now. Now I know how hard it is to do. You guys make it look so easy.
We've done a few.
I know. And that's the other thing, man. I want to say congratulations, sir, because I did a user group on a quarterly basis, and I also tried to do a virtual user group on a quarterly basis. That was hard enough. I can't imagine trying to do something every freaking week. I'm sorry. I would have gave up years ago and been a drunk. I'd have been in a van down by the river. Man, I don't know how you guys do that. Anyway, sorry. I just had to go off on a tangent there.
Yeah, he's wearing a fish shirt from a concert you two went together.
Nice. I was trying to dig it up. I can't find Slack fast enough. Yes, Hal. That was fun. Actually, I think that's the only reason I'll be coming back to Atlanta in July is to go see the Fish concert.
Ah.
Yes. They are coming back, and I want to see them.
So do you know anything about the 2016 System Center? What's coming?
Actually, I know a little bit.
Okay.
I actually had to watch some of the Ignite videos now that I can remember the name of the event because it was so small. And where do I don't see it in. Oh, do I have to click on PowerShell to see what he's actually putting out there?
You have to go to PowerShell and then go to the live podcast.
Oh, see, you guys make this
channel.
so freaking hard, man. I'm not geeky enough for this. God. Anyways, so yeah, they actually had a and it's going to sound really funny the way I say it, but they actually have scheduled maintenance mode in the GUI now. And, you're going to be like, what? That doesn't sound that big. Well, it's been an ask since Mom 2005.
Oh, gosh.
Actually, I think it was an ask in Mom 2000 when Microsoft bought it from NetIQ. I could be wrong on that. I don't know if that's public knowledge either, so we're gonna have to keep that under our hats. But no, and it's one of those things that as an MVP, you try and tell Microsoft the pain points, and you always say, you try and give constructive criticism so that it will be heard and appreciated for what it is. And that's one of those things that we'd be saying, you just have such better mind share from people if they could just schedule maintenance mode in a GUI without having to drop down to a command line. And it was nice. So yeah, that was in the technical preview actually. This latest version of the technical preview, and that was one of the, when they announced it and I heard it, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And it wasn't in a bad way. It was like, "Oh my gosh, they finally did it." I was like, "This company really has changed. Oh my God." No, I'm kidding. No, it was good, and it's good for the product. That's one of the things that's come out, as well as open source management packs, which was huge because basically it means they're going to be able to do Linux application monitoring, and with some shops that are trying to go to that golden one pane of glass, which as everyone knows is a mirage. That's one of those big selling points was that operations manager can do management, alert management for Intel Windows. That's lock, stock, and barrel. That's easy. They started getting into, in 2007 R2, they started getting into the XPlat, and then 2012 they went really more for it. They actually had a XPlat team.
Oh, okay.
And then and I'm saying this, and I don't want to make it sound like it was small. They're really trying hard, and as far as Microsoft can do sometimes. Sometimes they only have, it's that age old question. We have $1 we can spend. How much of this dollar should go to Linux monitoring? And that was usually the last thing.
Oh, sure.
So
we've got 10 cents left.
Yeah, we've got 10 cents left for this need that is for some enterprises really big. So especially ones that are looking for that single pane of glass. Anyways, so the XPlat team has been around for a while. I've talked to them many times. It's really interesting, and now they're really getting some. It's like they got different mojo. Like for the past year, it's like they're really getting into it. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's an amazing time. It's just the things that have changed in the past year and a half, 2 years, 3 years have been pretty astonishing. The way that they've gone from being antagonistic to anything that isn't Windows to just embracing it and supporting it as fully as they can.
Yeah, the I Love Linux thing was, I thought it was and I'm not saying this to diss anybody. I thought that was like somebody was playing a practical joke at Microsoft. Like somebody was like, "Oh, they don't know about this $5,000 I have left in marketing. Let's make some funny buttons that say I love Linux." At first I thought it was like, did somebody go off the rails with money? I don't know what's going on. And then as time progressed, you're like, oh, they really do mean it. And they're really trying hard. It was great. And I still can't see this Slack PowerShell thing. I need help. I need an adult. Help me. Man, this is going to be like the worst show ever. I ad-lib way too much.
No, it isn't. I remember the worst show ever. This is not it. This is not even close.
Okay, good. All right, let's see here. I'm trying to find it. I can't find it.
PowerShell.slack.com.
Yes.
Yeah, for those of you who are listening, there is a PowerShell community on Slack, and there is a live podcast channel within there that we have tied into the chat room when we record. So that's what we're talking about, in case you're wondering. Ah, there he is.
There it is. Thank you, Jay.
Yeah, now you can scroll up and see a shirt.
There it is. Ah, yes, I love that fish shirt, man. That's awesome. That's my favorite shirt. I love wearing that shirt. I had to be a rebel today. That's what I'm doing. And when I go to work, I wear the Empire shirt. All right, let's see if has there been has there been any questions for ops manager that I've totally whiffed and dodged? Because I really
no,
don't
not
want to
yet.
do that. I really want to answer questions because that was the funny thing. I went back and listened to the last time I did this, and it wasn't that great. Oh yeah, that's right. I listened to all the way through, and I was like, I had just pulled an all-nighter straight, and I was like about to go to sleep when I did the show. And I finally admitted it at the end. I was like, man, I'm sorry I sound so terrible, but I've been up all night. Oh, man, I miss the days of AT&T.
You lie.
God, that was so awesome. Wait, they can see my face when I'm saying that. Oh, God, no. All right, so did Adam show up? Because he said he was gonna hit us up with questions, but I don't even see him in there.
No, I don't see him in there either.
Yeah, he actually pinged me on Twitter, Adam Bertram,
Okay.
and he had a couple of questions about Scott, and I was like, hey, I'm not doing anything today. Sure, dude, call me. I sat on the phone with him and did a live session with him for like an hour and a half.
Oh, nice.
Try and help him out because I was like, oh, you really don't know Scum at all, do you? Okay, well let's try and give you a deep dive real quick. Here you go. So lucky for me, I actually have enough room on my laptop to actually run a Active Directory DC and a SCOM instance and maybe one other VM. And then
nice.
Then it starts smoking. It'll start. I can't turn it on now because the lights will dim down here, and I might destroy all your recording equipment. But yeah, it's really handy because and that's the fun thing. There are some times at work when you can't actually do what you want to do, and that happens to me so frequently that I'm not doing work on my laptop necessarily, but I have to how would that query come out? Well, I don't have access to the server, so let me just try and run a sudo query here to see what it comes out with. Like what was it the other day? I had to pull out a ops manager discovery for SQL and see what a query would look like, what the query returned.
Oh, okay.
Because basically it was saying, it was running a query, and I was like, okay, well, the threshold 7, what does the 7 mean? Is it 7 days, 7 hours, 7 minutes, 7 seconds? What does this mean?
Right.
And the only way to really find out is to run the query. So, that's how I learn things, is I actually do them. I don't just say, that looks like it might be minutes. I'll just go with that. because I used to do that, and then I stopped delivering pizzas, and that's how I got into IT.
So what else has been going on? Are you doing any user group stuff in Texas?
Man, wow, there is a Houston user group, and every time I've tried to make it there, something blows up at the office.
Oh gosh.
And because I'm the new guy in the office, as you well know, when you're the new guy on any group in IT.
Yeah, that's where the stuff rolls.
That's
is downhill, and you're at the bottom.
You got it. I am the guy that catches it, and I don't mind doing it, but it just seems like every time it's like, oh man, I was about to go to the user group meeting. Oh God, I got to get on this conference call. Okay, all right. Yeah, there's no way I can listen to somebody else talk about management pack authoring right now. Okay, yeah, okay, I'm not going. So, but yeah, they've got one. I need to go to it. I've missed being around Atlanta Smug Group. Missed Marcus and the guys so much. It's because it's a totally different world over there, and it's really hard to get around town. I mean, you think traffic in Atlanta's bad? You got nothing.
Yes, I do think traffic in Atlanta's bad. In point of fact,
Actually, I've heard 75's gotten a lot worse since I left.
I don't know.
Are they building something off 75? Some kind of ramp?
What they're doing is they're building from like 6th Road on 575 all the way down to 285 and beyond. They're building another lane that's going to be like a
Just one?
they're going to be reversible. It's going to be, I think, 2 lanes.
Yeah.
That, it's like toll or something that you get on.
Yeah, that every major thoroughfare in Houston, whether you're going north, west. I don't think they have one going east, but they have one south. There's always a lane in the middle of the highway, and it's the toll lane, and it cost, I'm sure in the beginning it cost $1 or $2.
Right.
It's a usage-based thing now, and it's like $5 a pop. So you get on there, and you're in that lane for 20 miles or 30 miles. You're not getting out of it. So anyways, I just, when I saw that, when I came back, I about fell out of my chair driving. I was like, what the hell? What are they doing here? Man, Atlantans don't like paying for things. Even, I know traffic can suck them sometimes in Atlanta, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know how good that's going to go over. Sorry. But I do have some notes actually on things that you asked me.
Okay.
I'll give those for show notes. Like basically they're things about SCOM and actually one of the other MVPs, his name's Marnix Wolf. He wrote and I know this is going to sound small to you PowerShell guys, but he wrote a script that would basically go and auto close alerts, but it would recognize the UTC time usage that SCOM does in the database. So basically, as alerts are shoved into Ops Manager, they put a UTC time date stamp on it. And that doesn't always flow well if you're on the West Coast and closing alerts and the database is in, say, Germany.
Oh.
Yeah. It can get a little squirrely on you. So he wrote a script that basically checks the UTC time and makes it work for the time zone you're working in. So basically it fixes what we've been messing up for a while and didn't really realize. So it's really cool. I'll make sure that's in the show notes.
Okay,
I'm going to
perfect.
email these to you right now. And as well, I have to plug something for my MVP lead.
Oh, okay.
And it's for the best build in Windows 10. The training courses on Microsoft Virtual Academy.
Oh. I love Microsoft Virtual Academy.
Yes, dude, it's like crack. I love it.
I don't love all of the I love the PowerShell stuff. Some of the other stuff that I've looked at has been a little dry, but just the fact that it's out there is really cool.
Wait, are you trying to say technical things can be dry?
No.
Actually, they do. Watching Snover and some of those other guys when they try and do these things, it's just it's more funny than technical.
Jason Helmick.
Yeah. Yes,
and
he is bad.
Jeffrey Snover.
Oh my
those guys
God.
together it's magic. It's so cool.
Well, actually, I think Snover and my technical man crush, which would be
Don Jones.
Yes, yeah. I mean everybody. I mean if you're into PowerShell and you've ever heard him, well, actually, I have to take that back because some people don't learn. Everybody learns differently.
Yeah.
I found my best vehicle is Don Jones and Jeffrey.
Jeffrey Snover.
No, Jeffrey
Hicks.
Jeff
Hicks.
Man, it's like
He actually did take my power down with his laptop. The one time he was here, he literally tripped a breaker with his laptop. This thing was enormous.
But, dude, that's why I didn't plug mine in. I got a brick this big, and I'm not pulling it out for nobody.
Oh my gosh!
No, that's it looks so. You guys make this look so easy, but as soon as that camera gets in front of you, you're like, oh. All right, so here, I'll send this email to you. And Hal's got to be howling right now, saying, man, this is the worst ever.
No, he's not actually hearing it.
Oh, good.
He's just in Slack.
Ah, good. Excellent. So,
And if I know him, he won't listen to it either. So,
well, he's busy. You know, he's got a couple dozen kids. And, you know, God bless the man. I know I couldn't do that. I would have shot one of them by now. I kid, people. I kid. I'm horrible. Okay, let's see here. John.
so they made a Microsoft Virtual Academy session of the best of Ignite in Windows 10. Is that what that is?
Apparently so. And I hope they have Docker included in that, because that stuff is going to be like developer crack. I mean, it is good stuff. Let's see here, show notes. See, I'm using old-fashioned email and sending this to you. You probably won't ever find it.
Yeah, not the best at email.
No, well, I'm one of these days, Gmail's just going to say, we're not sending you any more mail. You get too much already. But yeah, apparently they have that. Yeah, they've got some really nice classes, as you well know. But yeah, I actually am a Pluralsight member.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I love, let me restate that. I enjoy going to sleep watching some technical things because it puts me right out. And it's not meant to diss anybody. It's just, you know, some of the stuff is just god awful boring. Like, you know, how's a TCP connection made? You know,
Oh, right, yeah.
You know, that'll put anybody to sleep. But anyways, but I watched it was a new Don Jones and Jeffrey Hicks thing where it was an intro thing, but it was like how they think of things and how to script them at the same time. And that always blows my mind to hear how someone thinks out loud when they're scripting something. And it was something, you know, easy and mundane. It was like, you know, ping a bunch of servers, you know,
right,
ping
yeah.
a subnet. But it was the way they thought about it. And I had recently written a couple of scripts at work, and I was like, oh my God, I have to go back and rewrite everything. I made it way too hard. And I've been playing with this since it came out. I mean, I got a D-Day with Don Jones and Jeffrey Hicks actually when PowerShell came out. And I've been playing with it, you know, a little bit here and there, a little bit there. And now I'm writing real scripts for work for the first time. And it's like, okay, how do people really do this? I've always just taken other people's work and mangled it. Now I've got to write.
Yeah.
You know, now I'm like, okay, we need you to do this, Scott. Okay, all right. So you open the drawer and you use your hand and get the knife out, and you know, that's basically the analogy of making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah.
Sorry, and it's like, wow, how do people go about doing this? And just hearing from two people that I learn well from was an eye opener for me. But some other people would say, yeah, I know that because I do it every day. You know, not everybody PowerShell scripts all day. So
Only the lucky people.
yeah.
So I found that AMA session. It is called Best of Build in Windows 10. And it has segments. It says introducing the Windows 10 app model, Windows and open source software, Microsoft Edge, developing universal Windows apps, game developers, Internet of Things.
Oh, good.
Recommended resources and next steps.
Yeah, 3.5 hours of recommended next steps.
Yeah.
3 hours and 50 minutes of what you should do next after watching the previous 5 hours.
Well, it's got the keynote. That's
Oh man, that was some
177 minutes of it is the keynote.
Yeah, I watched that at the office, and I was pretty well blown away.
Yeah, I watched part of it. Well, did I end up finishing it? I don't remember if I finished it.
Well, some of it got.
I watched the HoloLens stuff.
Yeah, the HoloLens stuff was.
That just blows my mind. I can't wait to try that.
Oh man, I'm so. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do some testing. Sure, I'll even write code. I'm in for that. That was so cool. And I've already got I'm starting to think of a robot build I'm going to be doing.
Oh, really? What are you
Yes.
going to use?
I don't know, but
Okay.
I want to do it. No, I've already got a couple of not crack. I almost said crackberries. Yes, I used to work at Research in Motion. I'm sorry. But no, I got a couple of Raspberry Pis, and I was going to start playing with them
okay.
and see what I can do with that with the Windows 10 stuff.
Neat.
Yes.
I got an Arduino not too long ago. It's a little microcontroller. It doesn't run Windows. It's very simple, but it's cool for making electronics projects and programming it, and so
Yeah,
I've been playing with that a little bit.
The bad thing is I'm going to have to, and my wife's going to shoot me when she hears this, though, but I've got to get a new laptop to run Windows 10 to do all this fun stuff. Yeah, I know. It's hard news, but yeah, it's going to have to happen, hon, because I can't develop code on, what I do for work. I have to actually do something new. We'll see how that goes. Oh, and on other news, I was at MomoCon this weekend in Atlanta.
Oh,
Yes.
Was that cool?
It was.
Oh, I saw some pictures on Facebook of that actually.
Yes, it was. It's really cool. There's lots of people there having lots of fun, and having an 11-year-old girl that looks like she's 16 wasn't the funnest part.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
As the dad, I can imagine that was stressful.
Yeah. I left all my guns in Texas, and there was a reason for that, because I didn't want to go to jail when I came here because I shot someone. No, but luckily this time no one hit on her like last year, and that guy I almost shanked. I did have someone offer her a hit off their smoking device, and I said, dude, she's 11, back off. And that was fun. So.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, my wife was swooping it. As soon as my wife saw that from like 50 yards away, the next thing I know, my wife is got my daughter in a choke clutch hold, and she's dragging her off. No, I'm kidding. She didn't really do that, but it was just funny. So it's one of those, as a parent, things, you take your kids the first time, they're, a little young, and, oh, this is cool. Oh, there's the painted naked lady. Oh, just, keep going that way, kids. Just don't look that way.
Look over here. Look at that.
Yeah, look at that. They didn't understand what look at that meant till this year. No, but we had a great time. We stayed down at CNN Center.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Which was pretty interesting because they were getting ready for their 35th anniversary, which made me feel old because I remember when CNN came out. I watched CNN because if you had cable, there was 5 channels instead of 3.
Right. Yeah.
And one of them was CNN. No, but we had a great time. There was more anime than I care to. There's only so much anime I can take.
Sure.
And seeing Americans try and fit in anime suits sometimes is a little more than I can stomach. And sometimes there is a lot more skin than I really wanted to see available to my eyes. That happens, that happens. That really happens at Dragon Con. Oh my gosh. Dragon Con is that is not rated for children at all.
Oh gosh.
No. Yeah. It was funny because MomoCon's rated for all audiences, and they try and make sure everything's catered for anyone who wants, anyone who's with a parent can go to things, right?
Okay.
But a lot of the attendees don't quite understand that.
Sure.
They're like, so I'm walking back to my room, and a guy in a banana suit is complaining. Okay, so let's get this right first. The guy's in a banana suit. Okay. And he's wearing it proudly, too. And he's complaining that the MomoCon staff told him he needed to cover his nipples.
Oh, my gosh.
So it's like a 20-year-old kid, he's complaining that he has to cover his nipples because his banana suit wasn't covering, he was getting a little warm in his banana suit, whatever. So I was like, dude, it's mainly so I don't have to look at your junk. You do know that, right? He's like, man, you go to other cons and people are, and I was like, yeah, I've been to other cons too. And trust me when I say this, and I've seen it before, I don't want to see your junk out. Okay? And he was like, well, I'm not going to do that. I was like, that doesn't mean the guy behind you isn't.
Yeah.
And it's just people like that. It's just, it always, it blows my mind. It's like, well, why can't I do that? And then it's like, because the guy behind you will do it and he'll do it 10 times as loud. Yeah. Anyways, but I go on rants way too frequently. But yeah, we had a great time. A lot of anime. My son, he got to dress up every day. He was happy. He was like I can't remember who he was. And my daughter was somebody, I can't remember who she was, but she had a great time and they had a great time. And that's all that counts. That was our family vacation. Actually, we haven't had one in quite a while. So that was fun.
Oh, good. I'm glad it was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, Hilton Head or MomoCon. And actually we all voted we'd rather go to MomoCon just because, it was something new to do.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I'm not trying to rag on Hilton Head at all because I love going there. But it was just, we were coming back to Atlanta. Why not? We drove 13 hours to get here. We're not going to drive 5 more to get Hilton Head is the real equation there. So, and Adam, I'm surely sad you did not get to come and make commentary on this.
So where are you blogging these days?
I'm still on OM 2012 at wordpress.com. That is where my blog is. And actually, and I say this with all, I have been, between the move and a new job, I've got 3 new entries this whole year. And it's so sad. I was like, yeah, I'm an MVP, and then 5 months later, something else, and I'm like going, oh, God, that's horrible. But it's like one of those things, it's like once you get into, I'm living in a new city, I'm trying to, make new connections, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that. My wife and kids moved in. Oh, yeah, now we got to help them. And it's like, it's one of those things where if I get renewed, I'll be stoked, but I won't know how it happened.
Yeah.
But I'll be happy, but I won't know how it happened, and we'll question, why the sun comes up in the morning. But no, it's great. I love the MVP program. It's just one of those things where it's come to, I've got real life going on, and I can't exactly always make the time to blog and answer questions. I'm starting to now because I'm, starting to get everything back to normal. I got surgery on my hands. Now I can finally type and stuff all day long, which actually used to be a real chore last year. So it's really cool. A lot of things are coming together for me personally that way outweigh anything I get from something outside of my family. So I'm really stoked about that too. So
well, that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah. Having kids taller than you sucks.
I'm not looking forward to that. My son's getting real close.
Your son's 13 or wait, he's 15. He's 15. Okay. My son's 14. He's a half an inch away. Oh,
wow.
So, and I bet I have a feeling when he gets back from the dive camp, he's going to be like, "Hey, I'm taller than you." That's what he always does. He tries to sneak up to me, like crouching, and he gets real tall. So he's like, "Hey, I'm taller than you." I think I'm going to shrimp up for him this time and just freak him out. Let's see here.
And then your Twitter ID is J Scott Moss.
Yes.
I want to make sure to get that in here too.
Excellent. Hey, I can send you that. Gee, that would be helpful, Scott, to help the host, just tell him where you are and all that stuff.
I can figure it out.
Oh, yeah. So, a couple other things. Technical preview too from the Ignite release for Operations Manager.
Okay.
They also released Preview 2 management packs for open source software. That was a separate release. So like if you got the if you downloaded the ISO of Technical Preview 2 or the VHDs for Technical Preview 2 of SCOM, you have one other thing to do to find the actual management packs for open source that I was talking about or fawning over earlier.
Okay.
And man, why don't I know these things? See, I'm unprepared. I'm ill prepared. What am I going to do? Yeah, they have Apache, MySQL Server, and Apache. Yeah, that's huge compared to what they had before, which was not much.
Okay.
I mean that's a huge leap forward, and I applaud the team. I mean, the XPlat team has really stepped up their game. And again, that goes back to that whole montage we were talking about earlier about Microsoft and how the change in regime, the upper management structure has really, I think, and a couple of internal changes they made with how they get rated. I think that has really fired up the staff, and I've really enjoyed it lately because Microsoft 3 years ago is not the Microsoft of today. I tell you that. And,
oh yeah.
And and I know a lot of people are new to IT, and they might hear this and be like, "What do you mean?" It's just such a totally different beast. And I applaud them for it because it's like it was becoming arduous to always say, "Yeah, I do Microsoft products," and they're never going to change, and it's the big monolith, and things like that. And now it's the furthest thing from the truth. They're embracing openness, or not necessarily openness. Let me rephrase that. They're embracing change. They're embracing things that they didn't used to, Linux and open source. They've really embraced. They've embraced SSH. Let the applause begin there. I'm almost afraid to look at what Snover tweets now because you never know what it's going to be. Because like the one this week was we're Microsoft supporting SSH. I was like, what? I don't want to. I'm definitely never looking at his feed on April Fools, just because he could really go to town. I mean, next year if he doesn't go to town on it, he'll miss an opportunity of a lifetime. But anyways, the Docker support that just came out, how much they worked with Docker to get that to happen, much less, because they had to work, what was that, for the past year they were working on that?
Something like that, yeah.
And totally, in the dark net, no one knew. They heard, a couple people heard about it, there might be a little bit of Docker support. Maybe they'll start to embrace it. No, they went full in on it. I mean, they took no prisoners. They went all in, and that's not the Microsoft I'm used to. I'll like it, but that's like, really? They did? Wow, that's awesome. So.
Yeah, and the release cadence is pretty amazing too. Just in PowerShell, just to see all the waves of DSC resources they've been releasing since PowerShell 4 came out, and since the 5 technical previews have come out, it's just been amazing to see just how quickly they are putting stuff out into the wild.
Chocolatey nougat thing, nougat. I can't enunciate it right, but that
PowerShell package manager
was freaking cool, man. I was like, man, I can install all the things I need on my VMs in 5 minutes now. Woo, doggies. And get rid of that ISO of utilities now. Yay! just one long line of text now. Yes. So let's see what else we got here. Oh yeah, and the Azure stack. Yeah, that's good stuff. I gave you a nice link to Charles Joy's blog where he talks about OpenStack, or not OpenStack. Oh my gosh. There's no such thing as OpenStack. It's Azure Stack. Excuse me. But yeah, they've got a platform vision and all kinds of videos out on that. And that's awesome. I mean, I don't know what I'm more excited about. I know there's the HoloLens part and the robot part. That's really cool. but that's not my job.
Right. Yeah.
But it's one of those things where I'm so interested in it. Maybe that will be my job in 3 years.
Right.
I mean, it is, and I hope it works out the way they've been selling it. First of all, I don't know if it's going to work out like they've been selling it. I don't know anything that anybody else doesn't know that's public on that. It's just, it looks so cool. The opportunities are so many that it's hard to deny that, man, wouldn't that be cool to become a 3D guy and start working on new 3D developments, like 3D media, 3D, like some of the one demo they did where they did the 3D person, to learn about someone's, the skeleton.
Oh, yeah.
And then the muscle mass on top of the skeleton and the skin on it. That was really cool. But that's just scraping the surface, man. That stuff could be so much deeper.
Or even, something more mundane. Could you imagine an operations guy working in a data center with a HoloLens where you look at the rack and it tells you all the data about the servers, just sits there and,
See, that would be cool. Having the virtual operator that walks around. Actually, that would be a robot.
Yeah.
No, we put a HoloLens on a robot with a camera. That would be cool. Well, no, the camera would. No. Oh, okay. Now I'm going off on a tangent again. But no, I like your idea, though. That's cool. That would be really cool. So which server's running high CPU utilization that's smoking? Oh, wait, I can tell that one that's smoking, but
Yeah.
it says 99% CPU utilization.
Oh, I can see the server name right here.
Yeah.
It's digitally projected on the front of the server.
No more of those damn label makers in the data center.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, we just write it with, HoloLens. That would be so cool.
Or if you're trying to talk somebody through something, you can see what they're looking at in their HoloLens, and you could draw an arrow. This Nick.
Really?
Not this other one. This one.
Hold your head still for 1 minute, you Red Bull addled 20-year-old.
Not that cable. No, don't touch that one.
The red cable. Wait, or is it the blue one? Is it the blue one or the red one that they're always trying to cut and it's going to blow up? I can't remember. Movies are great. I don't know. But yeah, I just really dig all that stuff, man. I hope to be able to, take a Dalek to the next sci-fi convention. That's what I want to do.
Oh, well, that would be cool.
Yeah. But unfortunately, I don't have a garage anymore to make things, so. Yeah, that's the part about living in an apartment that really not so much fun.
You have to go into one of those maker spaces.
I found one, and it's really near my house, but I haven't seen it open yet, and it kind of bothers me because it's there. They've got stuff in it, but I haven't seen anybody in or out, and it's always locked.
That's not encouraging.
No, it's not. Don't save.
So anything else you want to tell our listeners? We're going to have all the links that Scott talked about for you in the show notes.
Yes. This will be a short show, though. You have to take out all my ums, man, or this is going to be horrible. Oh, my goodness. Oh, yeah, I should probably give you a bunch of scum guy blogs that are really good.
Okay.
Not mine.
That'd be great.
Not mine. The guys that really do it.
The guys who blog more than 5 times a year?
Yeah. And that would be Tao Yang. He is a beast, and so is, and I'm going to botch a little bit of his name, Stanislav. I can't say his last name. Oh. Stan understands. He knows I'm a redneck, and I can't say things right. And then there's Jonathan Almquist and Stefan Stranger. He's a PFE out in Germany.
I've heard of Stefan Stranger before.
Yes. He does PowerShell stuff very frequently. I think he likes between Raspberry Pi, PowerShell, and I'm surprised your paths haven't crossed more frequently. And Cameron Fuller, Kevin Holman. I'll send you another email with all these guys because they're really, really good stuff. Oh, and I can't forget the real beast, and his name is Marnix Wolf.
Okay.
He's a blogging machine, and he usually has some really good stuff. And this is usually stuff like that you won't run into every day. It's like, oh, that's how that works. He'll do things like that, like the whole UTC daytime savings.
Okay.
PowerShell script. I'd never even thought of that, and yet I've had I've run into it before, but I never really thought of oh yeah, in the database it keeps it as UTC, but we're doing it in Eastern. That might be a problem, for when alerts are open and closed.
Okay.
It's just, anyways, I'm going to stop talking now.
Well, I do have one more question for you.
Shoot.
I'm trying to remember. You've been here twice or once?
Well, I wasn't an official guest. I was just here and making jokes at everything.
So did you get the question?
Yeah, I got the question the second time.
Okay.
Yeah, I was on with Jeremy Pavlik.
Okay.
Yeah, I got the question. So you got another question.
So the next question is...
No, it's a trick question. No.
What was your first computer?
Oh, it's an IBM PC Junior.
Okay.
Yeah, I had the 8006, something like that. Yeah, it had like
8086?
Yeah, 8086. Yes, thank
Okay.
you. Yeah, it had 16K of memory. It was ridiculous, and it had a floppy and 2 cartridge casings. It's hilarious. It was the biggest freaking boat anchor I've ever seen. There was more plastic. It's funny. The ratio of computer parts to plastic were so overblown. It was ridiculous.
You open it up, it's like empty. And,
Yeah.
Oh, wait, there's the board.
Oh, there's that. It's like as big as my iPhone. It's like, oh, that's that chip. Oh, okay, 16K was that big. Holy cow! I could actually see that with my naked eye. The ones and zeros going across it. I'm sorry, I date myself. No, but that was a. I think my first real computer that I used daily was actually a 486.
Okay.
There was one my parents got me to try and edge me into it. I played with it a little bit. It wasn't like something I did every day. It was something I did when it rained for like a month straight. But my first real computer was a Hewlett Packard 486 33SX because I was cheap. I didn't get the DX. I wish I'd have gotten the DX, but oh well. You could only live once, right?
Yeah, my first real PC was a 486 DX266.
Oh man, I had a 33. Man, you dog. You dog. You would have deuced me on Doom, man.
Yeah.
I would have been owned. Oh, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I think I had 8 megabytes of RAM.
Oh man, that was the funny thing.
That was expensive too.
Yeah. That was the funny thing. Was part of the MomoCon. They actually have this whole gaming experience area. So there's like a lot of indie gamer guys come and show their games. But another part of that is they have a LAN war, and you should have seen how many rigs were open because they over they got their three
way
SLI
overclocked.
Yeah, there are 3 SLI cards that are overclocked and cooking the sides off their desktop box. It was so funny. I walked by this one guy's rig, and I swear, the actual box his PC was in probably cost $10, and he had 3 Radeon 900 cards. I was like, that costs more than my car. And you got it in this cheap case. He's like, got to do what you got to do, man. I was like, whatever. I wanted to smack him when he said that. I'm getting too old and curmudgeon-y.
You see a lot of water cooling?
Actually, no.
Okay.
Okay. I couldn't. They were playing when I was going by, and just taking a gander. I'd say about half the machines had one side off. A fourth of the machines had both sides off, and the guys who didn't, they were really cooking. They had the big titanium cases with lights and freaking strobe lights and smoke machines in the back. I was like, do you have a jump kit in there? Is it you got risers in there? Is it gonna start bouncing? It was crazy. And those were the guys that were, owning everyone. And then there were these guys who, I don't know why, they brought laptops in. So they were running at the the lowest res just so they could maybe, screen jump one guy.
Yeah.
Maybe if they got lucky. But anyways, it was fun to watch Land Wars. I've never really done that. I've played a lot of online games, with Steam, but I've never done an actual, land war. We're going to do that here. Everybody's going to be connected, to 1 gig E per game. It's like, we've got 10 gig E servers, and then we got we're going over fiber, which is only 1 meg. And you're like, okay, so what was the point of the 10 gig E again? Oh, I can't get there. Sorry, I babble way too much. All right, bye, Jonathan. I'm leaving. Bye-bye. No, that's all I got to say, seriously.
Okay, I will stop streaming.